This is about drugs. I was reading my part of my manuscript and I came to this and I went, wow, especially that everything's talking about drugs now and opiates and all that stuff. Well, this is what happened to me when I was in my late 20s, 28, 29. I had such a sore in my mouth. My left, okay, I had such, do I stay, I just, yeah. I had such a sore in my mouth. My left ear was killing me. With a small mirror, I could see way back of my left tooth on the left a white round spot as big as a dime. The damn thing hurt so much. It was there for about a week, and my whole face and the inside of my ear hurt. So hurt so much that I couldn't sleep. I went to see a doctor, and he said I had a big canker sore. He had the biggest canker sore I had ever seen. Gave me he gave me something to swab it with. Well, the damn thing wasn't going away. A week later, in telling my mother about the canker sore and how my ear was killing me, she scared the hell out of me by saying that she had never heard of a canker sore that big and last that long, that I should see another doctor. Well, what happened weeks the next weeks to come was unbelievable. I still had a great deal of pain in my jaw, my ear, my face. The whole thing was like unbelievable sore. Um, anyway, I guess I was running scared because I ended up going to 3 different doctors. Well, to make a story short, I almost lost my mind those weeks. I'm going to go fast forward and get to the part where things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, make a long story. At the time, I didn't know anything about drugs, uh, their effect on me, or even what drugs actually were. I was frightened because after I went to see the first doctor, I was still in a lot of pain. So I felt he hadn't taken good care of me professionally. I went to a second doctor. He gave me 2 prescriptions. I still had a lot of pain, lightheadedness, dizzy, nauseous, weak, etc. Took prescription and still was very sick. Went to, I'm going fast because went to one more doctor. I was really running scared now. I used to get very sweaty and thought I would pass out. There were terrifying weeks. I felt I had something terribly wrong with me and the doctors were not finding out. I did take the prescriptions each time the doctor gave me, and gave myself a couple of weeks, to do that. And with each of them, but got sicker and sicker. On the Friday of my lost weekend, I had just returned from my second visit to the third doctor. He had given me some packages of new pills to take with a new prescription I was to have filled. I took 2 of his sample pills in his office and left. I had to drive to my mother-in-law's house to pick up David, that was my youngest son, that she had been taking care of. By the time I got to her house, I was so sick and sweating like heck. I felt I would black out and my whole body was jumping around inside of me. Like all of my insides was running all over the place. It was a beautiful day, and as I pulled in front of my mother-in-law's house, she had David by the hand and they were walking from the side of the house to the front. I put my hand on the steering wheels and waited for them to come to me. God, I was so sick and so frightened. What the hell was wrong with me? As my mother-in-law approached me, I looked at her. She gasped. She went like, wow, she went like that. At the sight of me and said, my God, Paula, what's wrong? I moaned, oh, Ma, I'm sick. I don't know what's wrong. Come in. She said, no, no, I answered. I just have to get home. I just have to get home. Don't you want David? She asked. I can't. I said, I just can't. You keep him. Don will pick him up later. I have to get home. Stay here. She said, no, I can't. I have to get home. It's okay. I have to get home. All right, she said. And at her words, I took off and don't know how I drove home. I felt I was being sucked away to something place unknown. I got into my apartment like a fog. The girl next door, Hillary, was my friend and had been waiting for me because all those weeks of all that crap going on with me and the pain in my head and the new doctor, she had been very worried about me. We sat in the sofa in the living room and she held my hands as I cried and poured out my pain and fears to her. Why am I so sick? I just came from the doctor. I just took pills he gave me in this office. I cried. Well, I got sicker and sicker. Things started to get really blurry. I could hardly make out my friend Worried's face 2 feet in front of me. Paula, I'm going to call Linda and ask her to, yeah, Paul, I'm going to call Linda if she could go to the drugstore for you and get this prescription for you the doctor just gave you. Maybe it'll take and make you feel better. Hilly phoned, and just minutes later came in. I could not see her. Things really got blurry. Hillary, 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 come here, I cried. She came and sat next to me and held my hands. I was sobbing very softly, whispered, please call my priest. You want to see a priest? She asked, astonished. Please, please, I have to see one. God, but I was so frightened. I didn't tell her that I couldn't see her, that everything was blurry. I could feel all of me. I felt clammy. Hillary phoned the priest at the parish that I had gone to since I was 11 years old. She begged him to come and see me, that I was crying to see a priest. He told her to call my doctor, and she said that I had just left his office. Well, he was sorry, but he couldn't come. How hurt and angry I got when Hillary told me this. Oh, so much more frightened. I was dying and going to hell. Hillary had called my doctor and informed him what was happening. She told me later that he was very abrupt and snotty to her. How how she had gone to her apartment to call him again and got mad at him and told him off, that I had just left his office and maybe, you know, that this, as I was very sick, and why was he snotty to her? She was my friend trying to help me, and that was, what the hell, was he thinking about this? Couldn't he get me a tranquilizer or something to calm me down? Because I was not that kind of person. I wasn't really, that kind of a person. He called the drugstore and ordered tranquilizer. At one point, my sister-in-law Myrtle came to walk into my apartment because her mother had called her and sent her to me because she said for me to not to take my son David home, knew I was very sick. I was so frightened because I couldn't see anyone in the room, but I could hear them. What happened next, I'll never forget. I felt cold, but also part of me clammy and hot. I could see nothing then but blackness, and I seemed to diminish in size. It was like my whole body was shrinking on the sofa, and I was no longer there. The, the fear in me was all consuming. I felt something lift out of my body, gently float away. At first I could see my body and this thing floating away from it, and I felt close to both. But as I floated higher above, I got lost for a moment. Then it was like I was above me in this floating thing, high above everything and everyone, about everything and everyone in the room. The thing was about as big as a half moon, harvest moon, black gray in color with faded out edges. I got so much more frightened because my body, half sitting, half lying, was nothing but a black shadow. I floated above room, and it became the universe. I floated to my right and higher. As I did this, I saw a round gray window with black bars in it. As I floated closer to the window, I saw two white hands holding two of the black bars, a shadow of a face. I floated closer to the window because I wanted to see whose hands and face they were. My God, it's me. My face was gray, pasty color, and my eyes white, bloodshot. There was such anguish and torment in that face. It frightened me so that I quickly floated away from it just above my shadowed body on the sofa. I looked at my body and up to my right, and again to see if the barred window was still there. It was, but no face in it. I was drawn to it. I wanted to see if I got closer, if the face would be there. I floated a little towards it. There was such terror in me. I felt if I got closer to it, it would suck me in. My God, that's me. That's where I'm going to end, mad and behind bars. It seemed like I forced myself to look away from the window and from the sofa. I could see light way off down past the sofa on the right. I was afraid to float down towards it, and I didn't. But as I kept looking, a light got bigger. The light got bigger and bigger, streaked bright gray golden rays. Yeah. It almost seemed like I was willing the golden rays to open wider. As I was starting to see what was in them, oh heavens, I see my three young sons holding hands and jumping up and down in a golden field. As I strained to see more, I could see their short play pants and striped colored t-shirts, wildflowers growing here and there, and everything in such beautiful colors. I said to myself, who will take care of them if I'm nuts behind bars? Their father? He's so cruel at times. They're so young, they need me. I kept watching them playing in the golden field, and it seemed oh so peaceful for me to float right back down into my body. Hillary was sitting next to me, holding my hand. I could see her and the rest of the room. Here, Paula, take this. Linda went. Take this. Linda went to get me Linda went to get you the prescription the doctor prescribed for you. She handed me a glass of water and the pill. Paula, you you don't you go and why don't you go and lay down upstairs and rest? I was embarrassed because I felt I had been there on the sofa with eyes bugged out of my head, staring into nothing. I felt relieved she had suggested I leave the room to go upstairs and lay down. I was so ashamed. I wanted to get out of everyone's sight. I felt I could walk upstairs, and I did. I got my nightie, rolled down the bedspread, and got between the sheets, and didn't get out of the bed until the next morning. That weekend, I I I didn't wake up until the next morning. That weekend I did was that weekend all I did was take a pill when Dad would give me one, and seemed like I would crawl to the bathroom a few times. At times I heard Dom's voice far away. Now kids, eat the soup. That's what for supper. So that's it. Hillary's voice far away. Dom in a nice way. He Dom in a nice if she should. Hillary in a nice way would ask Dom if she could help her in any way, and he would always say no. For okay, blah blah blah, and then Monday morning. Okay, that was like all that weekend, so I'm going to skip that. Monday morning, he woke me up, said he was going to work and he was leaving. I thought he was cruel, but didn't say it. Felt deserted, but didn't say it. But then thought, well, he does have to go work. He has to support us, and I felt ashamed for my selfish thoughts. Oh God Almighty! Oh,
So I think that's
huh?
I think that's a good marking to end with. What's the next part about?
Okay.
So you want to make a little commentary about that episode that happened? You want to talk, elaborate and just talk to the audience watching about that was you experiencing
Yeah. Yeah.
an overdose
Yeah.
at a very young age, and this is common and people don't even know it's happening to them. And that's how scary, because one thing I think about is what could be now, what if your children were in your medicine cabinet and curious and found these pills and took them? They could instantly die. If that is how your body reacted, how could it react to somebody else? And this is something that's so common that happens daily. And so there really needs to be an awareness about prescription drugs, opiates, and it's been on the news several times. It's a big epidemic, and people need to be more aware about this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I'll say, are you talking?
Yep.
Oh,
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. You were
I'm just
talking?
trying to get you to.
Okay. No, what happened was like that morning. He left, and the boys were there. It's not written, but it's the same thing. I actually crawled out of bed. I actually was on the floor and crawled. And then when he left, I actually crawled downstairs, and I went to the kitchen in the highest cupboard up there, and I got all the prescriptions up there, and then I went back upstairs because we only have a bathroom, and I flushed them down the toilet. And I'm sitting like this on the floor. I'm sitting on the floor, and I'm emptying them, and I'm emptying them down the toilet. And I could hear plunk, plunk, plunk. Well, my boys are sleeping. And it was more like I couldn't believe, but I thought about this later. Those doctors, I saw 3 doctors. This was a prescription. Didn't they check the prescriptions that the other doctors gave me? It was all written down. So I was overdosed. Like that 3rd doctor, a pill in his office, driving my car home. He already knew what the other doctor gave me, but he gave me this in the office, and I had to drive home. but I didn't know all that stuff, like that stuff. All I knew is that was that. I was in a lot of pain and stuff. And then I do write this. I should have listened to this first doctor and swabbed the big canker sore. But that pain, my whole face, the eye, but then
It was infected.
well, I ran scared. I say that. And two, I had to take care of these little boys. But no, that was the thing. And I did, when I write this here, you should see what happened in the next week.
I think someone's at your door. Someone just knocked.
Go see what happened.
All right, let's tune off today because that's at 15 minutes. So we will tune in for our next live video, okay? Graham, and like and subscribe to Graham's page.
Okay, wait a minute, Mom. Thank you. Yes, my dear. Come in. There's my great granddaughter. Come in.
Come on in.
There. Hi, and how old are you?
Yes, tomorrow.
Tomorrow you gonna be 5? And my granddaughter was 15 yesterday.